All right, good afternoon, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Wednesday, August 17th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and just a little bit before the Phase 1 stock course concludes this afternoon. Great to see students like Norman, Kathleen, and all of us just rejoining us. Perhaps you're heading into this afternoon. Great to see everyone just joining us right now, Nina and Brian included. I was mixing up my internet tabs there just for a second. Great to see all of us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Hey, nice little move here on this ear stock. I just wrote in the trading room a moment ago. I was looking for the test and bounce off the VWAP. It was a slow move off the VWAP. But just before I said, hey, let's see a spike back over 3 very quickly. And I'll tell you what, this ear trade's listening to me. That's my joke of the day. All right, so for right now, ear, it has a lot more to go through in order for this to really run. This thing's had a really tough time with 315, 317 resistance. I'm happy I got one of us to crack up there, Brian. Perfect. So with that in mind, the ear trade I'll put on our watch list leading into the afternoon. No problem in doing so, just given how liquid it is. It's very tradable. It's good for pretty much any one of us in this room, at least as of now. If this ends up really beginning to squeeze up above 315, 317, then the volatility could certainly change. Ended up making a big squeeze up already from the morning. So right now, I'm watching this trade on my other screen. I have my stop set. My stop is set right from my entry point. I may have to raise that if that really continues to pop. But for right now, we'll see what this ear trade could do. Now, with that in mind, though, we also have the Fed minutes meeting concluding. I don't have my Benzinga Pro up, folks. I don't have my headlines up here. I was just trading before. I'm getting ready for class simultaneously here with this meeting as well. A lot of bowling pins in the air at the same time. I don't have the news out, like the headlines as to the Fed minutes meeting, but those are normally the smaller regulatory meetings that the Fed does comparative to the bigger, FOMC meetings that you tend to see every few months. So, it looks like a little reaction so far. We'll see if it continues within the S&P and the Dow and the NASDAQ collectively. But let's go from top to bottom. Otherwise, let's see what we could add to our watch list here. I'll tell you what, I had a gift fall in my lap here on the BWV trade. I ended up taking a 4-cent loss on it just, a little bit earlier off of 6, right place, wrong time. Then from there, it ended up re-breaking above 6, jumped right back in, looked for the run I was expecting initially, and ended up getting it. But this thing now is completely falling apart. So, I got out on this trade at 7. I could have done a little bit better. It topped off at like 765, but you're not trying to be on the receiving end here of this drop off. So, with that, I was expecting the pullback. Better to get out ahead of time. And I think we noted that yesterday on Bed Bath Beyond that Chuck is now calling out, saying the pop. Remember yesterday, Bed Bath Beyond, I was in on that trade from like 25.84. I think even the day prior, thing completely collapsed, right? You remember that? So you always have to have a game plan. I had my stop set break even on that trade. Well, for right now, this BWV trade, I don't think it's going to look to make one more squeeze here into the afternoon. If I'm wrong with that, I'll be happy to be wrong. I mean, hey, for right now, I'm not going to put this on our main list, but maybe around 330 if it fails to break any lower from here, and if it shows strength off support, maybe. Not a fan of maybes too much in this business that we're a part of. So next up, the HIL. I think I skipped over this. I mean, I talked about it briefly during the morning meeting, but this thing completely flat, a buyout. The ear trade we started off with. Let's see a lot more of this push, and certainly for us to see 315, 317 get flipped from resistance into support. So that's what you would really want to watch for on this trade. Oh, nice. Pets popping up right now. Another big squeeze on PETZ. Just recently ended up running up from 365, 370, topped off right around 425, 426. Great. Love it. PETZ. Looks like 4 could be a big support level to watch. Not much of an order currently on the bid, but I'm sure between the volume that got broken through from the ask, or perhaps seeing some volume get filled on the bid, it broke back above it just recently here. Let's see it fill out more as support, and then for the higher high later on. BBIG, another big move from earlier today. I was in on this one from 137, and I shouldn't say myself as an I, like literally we as a team inside the live trading room, like 15 of us, 15 to 20 of us almost, were in on this trade together. I just, I always like to ask, generate conversation, like, hey, is anyone in on the stock with me here? And like machine gun of chats coming in like, yeah, I'm in from 136, 137, 140, 150, and you were still able to grab a piece of the pie if you were late from the initial run here from 137. You could see how resistance became support. It's kind of lingering here at this point. So, nothing wrong with the stock itself, aside from it maybe being too slow. But, I got to wait to see this really begin to push back over 150, 152, if we're led to believe this could really push up that much higher across the afternoon here. Sava, pop and drop. Easy to say, but history also has the tendency to repeat itself, doesn't it? Right? All right, let's get to Chuck's Bed Bath Beyond trade. He'd called out the pop just a few minutes ago, beginning to squeeze up off 25. Chuck, you know what's funny? When you were initially calling this out, or not calling it out, when you were initially re-mentioning it here, like at 2 o'clock, I was looking for the squeeze then from 25. It was taking me for a ride. I'm doing this on tiny shares at this point. Unlike yesterday, I was doing that 500 shares. This was like 100 share lot positions, just playing around. But getting shaken around, I think I ended up taking like a 5 or 8 cent loss collectively. It's like nothing on 100 shares, but I just wanted to get out. I'm not trying to play with fire. Well, it ended up bouncing pretty nicely here, broke under and over right from 25. Clean entry right from this point. So I know Chuck's been doing really well on this trade. If you're able to jump in right from 25 here, fantastic job. There could be a lot more left to it. The stock is continuously volatile. So for us, we embrace the volatility. Volatility creates opportunity. So yeah, the Bed Bath Beyond trade I'll put back on our list. Kind of hard for us to not at least put a little spotlight on it. Kirkland, I mean, hey, history could repeat itself on this one as well. And I say that in the sense of like what happened back in 2020. I always like to show this with Kirkland's. I guess I have to go back a little bit longer here. Give me a quick moment. There we go. Looking at 2020, this stock ended up running up after the pandemic and the bounce within the markets altogether. Stock went from like $2 here, $1.18, all the way up to like $35, right? Well, it fell all the way back down. It's to say that, hey, the stock has some legs to it. It has potential to have legs, let's say. It's already up 27.5% nearly across the day. It could still look to break a new high before the market closed. So the Kirkland trade, I have no problem putting back on our list here too. Norman had called out Party City earlier. Another squeeze up early in the afternoon, trying to run back up right now. Looks good. Party City right now, you can see a couple of larger orders out here. The biggest one right off 262 for about 22,000 shares. So I would assume 262, 260 at that will be resistance. My ear trade slightly pulling back at 306. I'm in from 292, so thankfully still up on the position, but I'm watching it. It's not like Bed Bath Beyond where that thing completely crashed back down like shortly after I told you I was in that trade and stopped me out break even on that one. This one's a little more liquid, that ear stock. JCSE, pulled back. All right, let's kind of just skim across the gainer side here. Otherwise, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch more that's up. The blue stock I'll jump to right now because blue got halted before it reopened up during our meeting. So it is shortable. This thing is dumping right back down. I would anticipate 7 to be a very strong support level. If not, well, I mean, seemingly off the bottom here is 720, but I'd look for that to re-break and then see what happens at $7 coming up shortly thereafter. Once it reopened up, you had a huge print right off of $8, the open price there from the halt. All right, so we'll put blue on our watch list. Just whatever came out on the stock news-wise, it created a bunch of volatility, a lot more volume getting traded on this stock. Canopy growth. Geez, I mean, the markets are really pushing up right now pretty nicely. So, with that, I'm sure there's going to be a lot that's moving upward, but CGC has been on a nice tear over the last week and a half at that. Stock's been running up pretty nicely off the lows. But for right now, as far as a day trade, the only problem with this stock is that it's like too liquid. It's too filled in. So to expect this stock to be at like $4.50, $5 by the end of the day, it has to break through all of this. It's going to be tough. So, it looks interesting. Let's just check out the other pot stocks, see if there's anything, looking as good or volatile, maybe thinner book. Honestly, these are the main two. You got the CGC, TLRY, Kronos, but that's even slower and probably is liquid. All right, that's fine. I mean, CGC looks sharp, but it just too liquid. I don't think that's going to be as clean of an opportunity. Brian says ACB. That's the other one, I guess. But yeah, this one's not doing anything there. All right, we got FaZe, FAZE, a stock that's been running up over the last week or so. Not a whole lot happening right now on it. All right, folks, if there's anything else that's looking good, that's moving up or, going with the market right now, just type it in the chat board here. That's how we work together as a team. Let me hop over to the losers list. We already have a good list so far. So we got 6 stocks already on our main list. Sorrento, SRNE, it's like too cheap though. I just realized right when I clicked it. Dropped off nicely earlier this morning, but I'm not expecting this to fall too far after. What happened to Krispy Kreme donut, right? We talked about this in the morning meeting. Dropped off early after the open, did lead to a good short. But, for right now, it's a little wacky looking. Not a whole lot happening there. There we go. Chuck closing out on one of his Bed Bath Beyond positions there. Brian calling out DraftKings right now, DKNG. Ooh, that had a nice run up to it just a moment ago, didn't it? It's not up or down a whole lot percentage-wise. That's all right. I'm just pointing out this had a pretty good move, so it could be a good sideless stock to follow. John on Pets got 15 cents from himself there. All right, folks, if there's anything else up, down, left, right, type it in the chat board here, especially those of us on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Well, they didn't have any headlines up right now, and I'm going to type in on my Benzinga Pro here, see if there's anything I can find. All right, let's go back to BWV. BWV looks like it's trying to inch back up. Ended up falling off. It did bounce very sharply from here. Let's see if this can make one more run, perhaps, right? It's showing some great strength, at least right now. Now, I would expect 7 to be a big resistance, though, at least for the meantime. So BWV, I'll put back on our list. No, that one's going to be too little volume. All right, I'll tell you what, I think that just about wraps it up. I mean, maybe JCSE one more time. Nah, not a whole lot happening there. Already fell off too far. It's not moving fast enough like that BWV trade. All right, folks. So now at this point, I think we got like 7 now at this point. We got Ear, we got Pets, Bed Bath Beyond, Kirkland's, Party City, Blue, BWV. Obviously, I'm going to type this all out to you folks coming up very shortly. For all of us inside the live trading room, you folks first, and then for all of us on social media, we'll post this on our Twitter and YouTube streams. But otherwise, folks, from Doug, he's asking on YouTube right now, X US Steel. He knows I'm a sucker for X. If you haven't went over it already, X, this isn't moving too much right now, Doug. It's down 5%, but markets are moving upward right now. So it doesn't make as much sense to follow this unless if that's a head fake and then the market's completely tank heading into the close, then that could lead to a drop off on US Steel. Either way, don't have a great need to put this on our watch list right now. That's all right. All right, folks, for all of us inside the live trading room, Rich should be posting the link for phase 1 coming up very shortly from now. We're going to be talking about journaling your trades. Appreciate that, Rich. Thank you very much. So make sure that you folks have enough time to click the link, get ready so you're squared away on the audio and chat and video side of things all together. I'll be in there very shortly. I'm going to refill up on the old water bottle here. Thankfully, I'm good to go across this meeting. Boy, oh boy, this morning was a struggle. All right, so for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, I appreciate you folks sticking with me each and every day, well, I should say day. I'm tagged in for Fausto all week, so you had me across the morning and the afternoons, and you'll continue to across the remainder of this week. I believe Fausto will be back even on Wednesday, but any questions that you have, feel more than free to send over my way. josh@ctutrading.com is my email. Any questions that you have, feel more than free to email me, and I typically get back within a day or two. All right, folks, aside from that, I look forward to seeing most of us within the phase 1 stock course coming up in just about 15 or so minutes. Take care.
A Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world